played outstanding in certain areas of the field. One thing about Chadron State is they don't know how to lose. And whereas a lot of other teams would have folded their tent and gone home, I'm real proud of the way they played. They're a tough-minded, hard-minded team. I said it all week long. I said that the game turned out exactly the way I thought it would be. Whether it was a 1-point win or a 100-point win, I didn't care as long as we got out of this thing with a win. So they played their rear ends off on the road after a long bus ride. They got a tough bus ride home because they came so darn close. But I'm very proud of our football team. The one thing we've done is we've matured quite a bit in certain areas, particularly on our offensive front, where we showed the ability to run the ball, protect ourselves. After Justin got dinged out, James came in and handled the offense and handled the ball, and we did some nice things there. So congratulations to us. In the end, we're the team that won the game, and we're pretty proud of that. In fact, for the third week in a row, we've surrendered a easy touchdown. Our right guard in the PAT field goal got blown through, and he just wasn't playing as hard as he needed to play against a football team that knew quit, and it ended up being a key play for us. So something as innocuous as a field goal attempt turns out to be something that really came awfully close to being devastating for us. So I'm proud of us. We played well at times defensively, but give them credit. They never gave up. They threw the ball deep on the outside. We got beat over the top twice and late in the game, and that's disconcerting. Thank God we got 2 weeks off before we play Sac State. Questions?
Coach, how come Justin wasn't in there towards the end?
Because.
Was that a nerve-wracking moment in the sense of they made him come back and you've got a backup quarterback who hasn't played a lot yet?
Yeah, and you did a nice job. You came in and did a wonderful job.
They knew you were going to run the ball, obviously. How did the whole offensive line respond to that?
I thought we played pretty well, although we got stoned on a 3rd down and 2, and we should have got the 1st down. So good and bad. But you can talk to Wes about that because he's a leader out there. And as a junior offensive left guard with a core of guys that are pretty darn good, he played pretty darn well today. And he's played the best of our offensive linemen up to this point in this season. And I think those other guys will play a little bit better on. And I'll let Wes explain to you why we didn't get that 1st down.
Do you think the fast pace of the offense helped you jump out to that early lead?
Fast pace of whose offense?
Their offense.
No.
How impressed were you with Brock and Magnum out there? Magnum.
Well, they had to play better because the way they played down at Utah State was unsatisfactory, and they came out and played the way they're capable of playing. Last week they left a lot of plays on the dirt, and they had to play better this week, and they responded. We expanded our offense a little bit more and played a little bit better at wide receiver than we have in the past, and I expect that to be our standard from here on out.
It's 39-13 when they blocked that field goal, then it's 39-27. Was that, you talked about you want to finish strong, was that, how do you view, that stretch there where they made the comeback?
We got beat twice over the top on defense. Regardless of whether that was a block field goal or not, defense has got to be mature enough to go onto the field and prevent those long plays from occurring when the team's on the comeback trail. They threw the ball great against our diminutive corners on the outside, and those corners are going to get challenged every single game just like that. They made the plays, and congratulations to them, but there just weren't enough of their plays for them to make it a full-fledged comeback. So defensively, we still got some holes and things to work on. We didn't pressure their quarterback. We got a couple sacks early. Kirk Carstetter had maybe it was the biggest play of the game when Carstetter got a sack, and then he didn't go on the field after that. That's something we got to get remedied because he's a very active player that needs to play more.
Yeah, Aries really carved them up for huge chunks of the game. They didn't really get a lot of pressure on them. They're dropping guys back. Is that maybe advantage Bengals because you expect your senior
Nobody
quarterback?
gets pressure on us. Our offensive line's too good.
You touched on Malcolm and how he can have the best game against Utah.
He's a redshirt sophomore, and redshirt sophomores, it's like it's a transfusion every game. You don't know if you're getting good blood or bad blood. You just don't ever really know. Those redshirt sophomores are going to be up and down every single game, and he was inconsistent at Utah State. He was debonair and exciting in a high wire act today. So what's it going to be next game we play? It's going to be it's a flip of the coin because you never know what to expect from those young guys. That's why a game like this against a quality opponent was such a measurable thing for us because we knew they were going to come back. We knew that they were good enough to launch us. You knew early in the ball game that when they were running the ball and cutting off our backside defensive end and we weren't making the plays, this was going to be rough sledding at some point. And once they refound their traction and started going, man, we were hanging on for dear life. And then we added to it by being pretty lackadaisical on a PAT field goal that should not have happened. That's a 3rd cheap touchdown, actually the 4th cheap touchdown we've allowed in 3 games in kick teams. And it's bad on my dentist bill because I'm grinding my teeth down to nothing.
I don't want to harp too much on Malcolm, but the idea of, did you?
He played as good as a redshirt sophomore can play, and I'm done talking about it. He needs to play like that all the time.
Okay, that's what you expect from him, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's a starter. He can't be up and down and dropping the ball on the turf 7 times last week or 5 times, whatever it was, and still keep your jersey in some schools. So he needed to play that way for himself and for somebody else I know.
In the middle of the game there, you mentioned Chadron, they had a really couple drives early, and then you for hard huge chunks, you shut them down. When the defense was playing well, what were they doing?
Well, I think they got away from there to attack. It wasn't really as much as we were playing great, but they stopped doing some of the things they did well early, which was run the ball at two, 3-man surfaces and gouge us on the backside. So getting our backside defensive end cut off was a big deal for us. And as long as they stayed away from that, we're going to be okay. Well, they got kind of away from it, started to get a little fancy, a little tricky. We got a nice sack from Kurt. We got them into some unusual situation, and offensively we started kicking it into gear. When we started playing like that, then we were going to be okay. But they settled back down and started to throw the ball. We were getting no pressure at all on their quarterback, and their receivers were pushing past our corners on the outside. And all of a sudden this thing turns out to be a 5-point win for us against a quality team. I'm telling you what, especially their offense. That's a middle of the pack Big Sky offense. They're really, really good.
PJ Vermont is back today. Just part of the team again, 100%. Is Mario taking over that starting job?
Well, Mario's the starting weak side linebacker.
PJ's back to the team. Did he meet any requirements to join the team?
He must have.
Going forward, obviously, even though you got the win, it feels a little bit different than your average win. What do you have to focus on to be in the right mindset for your next game?
Well, we played without 3 frontline defensive linemen, having played those 2 Division I teams back-to-back. And to have played without Forrester, Derek Berry, and Sage Warner, that's tough on our defensive front. And that's why early they were able to get some runs. Drew Sharkey's down in there playing down inside. He's a rush stand-up linebacker, so he won't have to do that 2 weeks from now when we play Sac State. So, but give Chadron State a lot of credit. They're hard-nosed, they're hard-minded. They don't know how to lose, so they weren't about to start thinking, okay, well, this one's over with. Let's get on the bus and go home. So, I like their mindset. I like the way they played.
Touch on one more thing. That fake punt you ran early in the game.
Yes, sir.
I feel like that was actually momentum for you guys.
It was a great call and a great execution, and it propelled us. But it's disappointing to me as a head coach that I have to go to a fake punt to get our offense going. And you can barbecue these guys about it. And when I have to use a fake punt on the second series, or the second time we're in a punting situation to incite our offense to play better, well, we shouldn't have to do that. And it was a great play, great execution. I look at it as a glass half empty pouring it out rather than a glass half full filling it up when you go for a fake punt and get it. And we shouldn't, in some other games maybe it's something we need. We play Montana State or we play Eastern Washington, we'll need it then. But against these guys in this game to have to go to a fake punt to spur our team forward, I'm glad we at least did it.